Carl, welcome to this week's edition of In the Dugout. We'll start off by talking about Challenge 1000. Season tickets continue to sell.
Yeah, and they're going well, going real well, but they're nice, steady flow, you know. We're doing some good numbers every week, and if we continue to do them numbers, we should see us over that 500 mark pretty quick.
That's what we want, isn't it? That gradual progression. We want to see people buying and getting involved.
We do. And we've got plans to go to the community clubs, and we will give the kids their season tickets, and hopefully the kids then will make their mum and dads want to bring them down, and then they might as well come and watch as well, so get their season ticket at a good price.
Is that what we want then? Obviously we've got all this stuff planned in the next month or so, but to lay a solid foundation so we know what we're working with. Yeah.
We want to get the atmosphere up. That's the big thing we want to do. So if we can get the numbers in, then we'll get the atmosphere up. That's the whole plan. What we've said all along, and we're happy. We're happy with where we are. You know, we know we're not going to go out and sell them overnight, but you know, everyone knows we've got till December 25th to get their tickets, and most people I speak to are asking, you know, is it when do we have to get our tickets before? And so they're all asking, and we're happy with it. So it's something that's gone down really, really well, and we've got a lot of pats on the back for.
Yeah, it's important that people know when the deadline is, 25th of December, I think. So it's important that they know when that is, so that they're not missing out on the deal, because we want people to take advantage of the cheap season tickets.
We do, and it'll certainly be with the cut-off day. Will be the cut-off day. There'll be no extra time on it or anything like that. So we will let people know well in advance which, you know, when we're going to stop selling them, and we'll give them plenty notice to get their season ticket at the right money before the cut-off date. But like I say, once the cut-off day comes, that's it.
Pre-season starts on Monday night, doesn't it, at Castle Park, and I think for the players that were here last season, they'll probably all been itching over the last few weeks to get back into it after a disappointing end to the 2017 season.
Well, most of the players who's been there last year and the year before think they're only halfway through their rest. You know, they're coming back. Rich has got them coming back early, so a lot of them are really looking forward to it. I think they're a bit bored now and want to get into it. I know certainly the new boys want to get down and get stuck in, and you know, it'll be tough, but hopefully they all can get to know each other and do some hard work, and we, you know, hit the ground running.
Yeah, these dark nights, the floodlit Castle Park, is that an important factor? I think we struggle. You've mentioned me a few times, we struggled with no floodlights in pre-season last season, so now there's sort of everything in place ready for a strong pre-season.
Yeah, and that was that kept getting thrown back at me last year about, you know, we didn't have floodlights in the off season and we didn't have that, so we've done something about it, so there's no excuses, and they're coming, like I say, a month earlier. Certainly got to be a lot fitter for the start, and you know, the training, I know it's going to be tough, and I think I mentioned last week we've got a meeting next week to speak to someone about taking them on a camp, which will be a building exercise, and you know, goal setting and all that sort of stuff, and those they're beneficial for what they want to do. So we'll hit that. You know, we're in the thick end of trying to sort our pre-season games out, and hope to make an announcement on that hopefully next week on some. We've just got to confirm them. It's that's getting harder. The pre-season games, a lot of clubs are not doing it, and other clubs, some want to do them, and it's a real tough one. And as it's going on and on, that, you know, they're not a high priority for the big clubs, but hopefully we'll have some announcements next week.
Yeah, because those pre-season games can be the key for Richard in particular, to sort of see what sort of players fit in which positions, can't it, and which players click together quicker than others. Yeah,
it's good and it blows all the cobwebs off, and you know, you can do all the training you want, but when you get into game scenarios, it's, you know, there's a different sort of fitness. You have to get that, you know, the game fitness, and you can be winning everything in training, and then, you know, get into a game, you're blowing after about 5 minutes. But that's you just got to get the pace of the game, and we want to have a good start to the season, and that can, you know, carry us through. So hopefully we'll get some decent friendlies organised.
And it can sort of be that winning mentality as well, can't it, in pre-season? If we can maybe string a couple of decent results together against the teams we play in pre-season, although it doesn't count for anything points-wise, it can sort of lead you into that first couple of league games.
Well, last season we did well. We started the friendlies good, and Sheffield Eagles had a real good side there, and we beat them, and we didn't take it into the season. So it's a tough one. What we want in the pre-season games, you want to be challenged, and we're trying to get some decent sides down here, so that'll really challenge us. And the results are relevant, but if we play a really high tempo, fast, good, strong teams, and that can hold us in good stead for the league campaign.
And the fixtures for the new league season are to be announced over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Is that something you look forward to on the calendar, so you know sort of where we're going to be on what dates?
Yeah, it is, and we all know it's going to be home and away next year, which is great. You get to play all the teams are here, and you get to play them away. It was probably about time that was sorted out, and so we're happy with that. Everyone I suppose waits, and anticipating who they're going to get first, and are they going to be at home, are they going to be away, and have a look at your first 3 fixtures and see where you can go from there.
Does it allow you to plan ahead as well? So we've got a few long trips next season, haven't we? Can you sort of put plans in place for sort of travel arrangements and different things like that as well? Yeah,
and you have to do that, but it's probably the first one. You just keep your eye on the first one, and then let everything flow from there. It's always nice to get a home game on the first game of the season, but we'll see.
I suppose all eyes will be on Bradford as well, won't they? When we're going to get there, and when we're going to Odsal, when they're coming here. Yorkshire Derby, a big game for both sets of fans.
Yeah, them and York and Hunslet and Keighley, and they're all clubs around here, which is good, and we do get to get them at home, whereas last season you had some clubs coming here and the crowds weren't up, and unless with them clubs who I've mentioned, they bring good support. Oldham, they'll bring good support here, so they're all tough. The League One next year is going to be really, really tough, and we're in the mix with it, but we know how tough it's going to be, and it's getting tougher and tougher every year, as probably the Championship clubs will say the same, and Super League clubs will say the same. So it's not getting any easier, but we feel like we've got a real good team. We've got them in early for pre-season. We're giving ourselves every opportunity to achieve what we want to achieve.
Jamie McDonnell fighting this weekend, isn't he? Someone you know well, someone who's close to the Dons as well. He has a lot to do with the club as well. You just want to wish him luck for the fight this weekend.
Yeah. I was around his house last Thursday, I think it was. He's in great shape, and he was having to cook his veggies while his father-in-law brought his wife's dinner around, and I've never seen him in such good condition. He's by all accounts, he's beating every record in training that he's doing. It's a fight that he's determined to win, because the last time people said he didn't win, and he's takes a bit of pride about things like that, and so he's really determined to go out and put a good show on against this kid. And I think once he's seen them, once he goes right. He went to Mexico against that Carmida, and he won the first one, and there was the same sort of talk, and then when he went back, he won the second one convincingly. So when Jamie's on and he wants to do something, he's a real determined character. He'll do it, and everyone here has always been a part of the team, Mac, and that's along for Jamie and Gavin. Great fellas, good ambassadors for Doncaster. So we wish him all the best. He'll go and do what he's got to do. I'm really, really confident he'll get the job done, and then just we'll see him when he gets back.
Rugby League World Cup in full flow now, isn't it? We saw some good games last weekend. England ran Australia close. The Kiwis got the win as well. I'm sure you were very happy about that. Tonga started off as I think most people expected them to. There's some bumper games this weekend as well, isn't there?
Some good ones. Ireland PNG will be a good one. The Ireland, they had a real good victory. Who did they play? Italy, was it? Mark Minicello's team.
Yeah, some good players.
And they put it into the sword. So they look really physical, but the PNG boys are real physical too. And that going over in PNG, that game will be tough. I thought Tonga looked really good. They hammered Scotland. So the New Zealand-Scotland game, that should be no problem for New Zealand, and I thought the Kiwis looked good, and I said that the week before, don't worry about these fellas you don't know, they'll go and play, and I thought they looked real good, real crisp and everything. But the big game that stands out this week will be the Samoa-Tonga game. For the boys who know, they know what it's going to be like. The whole of New Zealand will be having their eyes on that one, because there's a lot of Samoans, a lot of Tongans in New Zealand, and I think that that place will just be full of blue and full of red, and the players will just go at it hammer and tong. And honestly, if you want going to watch a game this week and you want to watch a real physical battle, that's the game to watch.
And England face Lebanon on Saturday.
Who?
Lebanon?
Who Lebanon play who?
England.
Who?
Yeah, well, you said we last week, didn't you, on England? So it's a mixed one for you, isn't it? What do you expect from that game on Saturday?
England will win that game, and win it comfortably, I'd say. They did well last week against Australia. Again, same sort of things are being said afterwards, though. They don't need to say the things. They just need to, really get their heads down and come back, and they can do all right. Like I says, I don't think it can happen unless one of them lose another game, I think, because someone says to me, you don't know what you're talking about, it'll be an England-New Zealand semi, will it? If it goes...
It'll be England-Australia in the final, I think, if it works like that. So.
Oh, well, I don't think so. But I thought it could be, I thought England then should have won the first one. That's their own fault, because it would have been New Zealand and Aussie in the semi, and then they would have been in the final, and I would have been right. But you never know, there may be another loss before we get to that stage. The Tongans and the Samoans might have something to say about it, and the Fijian team who did really well as well. These guys are really great attacking sides, and it's just when they have to do a lot of the defending that they get caught out. But the Fiji, Tonga and Samoa, they certainly put some points on you. So we'll see.